Hello everybody, Janet Urban here, founder of Friends in Film. Welcome to our podcast. The purpose of this podcast is to give you insights that you will not learn anywhere, not in film school, not online, not from anybody, even people on film sets will not know what I'm teaching you because we have studied how to go very fast into the film industry and create a career out of it. And that is what this podcast is about, and that is what the A-List program is about, which is our main flagship program that all these people all over the world are doing to work in the film industry. So enjoy today's podcast, and thank you so much for listening. What do you guys want to do in the business, and where do you live now? You are a cinematographer. Are you would you call yourself a videographer?
I definitely would like to be like a camera operator, I guess, in terms of entering the film industry. And I've had a couple of jobs on sets.
Good. So you are a videographer, and you've got clients. Yeah.
But in the Hudson Valley, recently, a lot of film work has been coming up here since the pandemic happened. And now in Newburgh, it's called Choice Films. They got a whole film soundstage production studio, and I've been able to get a couple of jobs with them. So it's been pretty cool.
What kind of jobs did you get with them?
The first one I did was a stand-in, and that was just like the first time I was able to get myself on a set. And I was like, but that was cool because it wasn't like a background. As a stand-in, I really got to be right there with the camera people all the time. And then I had a really cool one. I was an assistant director, an assistant to the assistant director on a Disney set. I got to do Disenchanted. Yeah, that was, I don't know how, very luckily landed that. My girlfriend's really close friend lives in LA. She is Adam Shankman's personal assistant. She's always filling roles for his movies, and they needed somebody like in an emergency in New York City. And she was like, well, Skylar's like, he can be there in an hour. And so I got the gig, and it was awesome. It really was. It was cool.
See, that was such an interesting story.
I'm very lucky. It's a very fortunate circumstance, you know. And then I was able to do a second camera operator on Choice Films, but it wasn't like for the whole set. Like I got to do like I think like 3 weeks of work with them, but it was great because I got to like be in the department that I want to be in, you know.
Yes.
To be like, I love this. Like this is amazing.
Tell me, what was the position and was it paid?
Yes, I was. Yes, I was paid. And it was I was the second AC.
Wow. To be a second AC. Okay.
Nice.
Good job.
Awesome.
Good job.
Thanks.
And how'd you get that one?
That one I got through like just continuously reaching out to the producer who owns the company. His name's Tony Glazer, and I'm just constantly reaching out to him every couple of months, sending him an email. And so he's got more work coming up that he wants to put me in June and July. So I'm excited about that too. Very good. And then I know another woman who owns her own. She's been running her own production company now for a couple of years, and she does what I really like. It's like really like documentary related stuff, but she gets paid for it too. So like I'll be like her assistant, and on the payroll she'll put me as like creative assistant director, or you know, I can like technically write a little resume with like things that look very good on them because in the short period of time that I've gotten to take it seriously, I've been fortunate enough to get myself on some decent spots, you know.
You are a go-getter. You aren't lucky. You're doing, and you have been doing great work out there, forming relationships with people, showing up, being responsible, doing a great job. This is why people are like the friend that referred you, that got you the position there. It's very useful to have confidence and to know that it's the self-confidence that has people feel comfortable in hiring you, and that if they refer you, like that's been happening for him, that you're going to represent them well. And how they know that is what you've done in the past and how motivated you are and the responsibility you take on. Like even the fact that you're working at this auto body or auto repair shop, it's impressive. It's like, you know, most people don't. Yeah, they don't get up in the morning and be like, oh yeah, we're working on a documentary and then I'm also working assistant camera and I'm working my auto body shop. It's like when professionals hear that, they're like, oh, that's somebody that I want to help. That's somebody I want to work with.
And driving the tow truck all night too for every day this week. It's a lot. But yeah.
It's
And
a
the truth,
lot, but who cares?
a couple years ago, I would have never thought I would do this either. And it's my girlfriend's father owns the shop. He's been in business. Tomorrow, the 11th, will be 58 years. And he's
Wow.
80 years old. And I started as a couple days a week to help him out. And it's the same sort of situation. Like I'm just when there's something that I'm into, even if I'm not into it, but there's like some sort of passion. If I'm taking on an obligation, I do like my absolute best, no matter what it is.
You have a great opportunity. You have a great start. You're a go-getter. You're finding some opportunities. And I think that you can do whatever you want in this business. You can direct, you can write, you can produce. You've got a lot of stuff to learn, but you can do that. How fast do you want to do it? And what are the right things to do in order to actually start this? Okay. So the problems that you have is that not enough people know about you. Now, you are
That's
only an hour and a half out of New York City. All
true.
of the big stuff is in New York City. You could go
Hmm.
very slow, and you're doing what a lot of people here that I find do. It's like when opportunities come in, you take them. It's like, oh my God, that was
Hmm.
so amazing. And then, but it's going too slow. I mean, you might be like very happy about it, but still, if our goal is to become a director and your goal is to become a cinematographer, okay,
Hmm.
that means that we need to be on big sets every single week and be
Hmm.
learning from a lot of different cinematographers and learning lighting and being there. We need to actually go for it now, basically.
Right.
Yeah, what I'm going to teach you today is super relevant to you because this is about becoming a professional. So the first part is getting in the door, and you've gotten in the door here and there. And
Hmm.
what I'm going to be teaching you and talking to you and everybody else here is how to get in the door consistently, regularly, like it's what you're doing now, and you're using every single experience that will feed your film career. So everything's
Oh,
used towards your film career. Number two is being on sets every single week, knowing exactly what to do to find the sets and seek them out and be on them regularly. And then
hmm.
step number three is then moving into a craft. So
Mm.
when you get on all of these sets and you meet people that are like, I love this guy, I love this guy. What do you want to do? What do you want to do? I'm sure you've already heard people ask you that. So we need to get that happening in New York City
Hmm.
on major stuff. And
Yes,
then, because if you want to go fast and you're not somebody to sit around, if you got the confidence, why not fucking go fast?
I
You know?
agree.
Yeah.
I
It's
do.
see, such a great example for how to think, you guys, because most people are like, oh, I just want to hang out with people that are student filmmakers because
I'm-
that's where
yeah.
they're at. Or you can go into the professional industry and start learning where the money is, where the real stuff is, where you aspire to be. Go there right now.
I've been working in the industry for about maybe 2 years now. Towards the latter half of my semester, I got a message about a short film that was being shot in Maryland. It ended up being my first indie feature that I got to work on that lasted about 4 months. It was around 250, 250 a day.
Okay, 250 for 12, 5 days a week.
Yeah. Actually, no. 6 days a week. We only had one day off.
Oh my goodness. Okay. All right. So that's a fair rate. And you were working as a what, production assistant or
Yep, costume PA, and
costume
then
PA?
towards
Very good.
the end of filming, I transitioned into just a regular PA. Yeah, I was doing school still, like online.
Most people don't do that. They're just like, oh, I got to focus on my studies only. And then I'm like, hey, you got to get on these film sets. That's where you're going to get your real
I mean,
education.
it's what I'm studying to learn. So I've
Yes.
had actual professors at that school advocate, don't come to these classes if something comes up. So I've made connections since then with people on that set, and I've gotten work here and there.
Okay. So what's your goal?
My goal is to
Mhm.
basically just be able to learn more about the field and make my own creative decisions and just kind of add something to the process. And I don't really know what that is yet. Most of it I'm not happy with yet, and I'm always practicing. I potentially have a career path with costumes, but I don't know if I want to do costumes.
Yeah, I'm so happy that to hear you say that, not because costumes isn't good, it's just that the way that you're thinking about it is like, well, what do I want to do? One of the traps that you can get stuck in is you can get set jobs that come in, and then before you know it, 5 years have passed, and that's where you're at, and those are all your connections. Yeah. What it is that you want to do. And maybe you don't know yet. You need to be on more sets and you need to work maybe more specifically with certain departments to see. And when they want to put you in costumes just because you know it, you've done it, you tell them, I'd really love to, I'm happy to do that, but I'd really am going in this direction to see if I love that area and start working in that area. Could be camera department. I mean, camera's so huge. What do you have going on right now? And what do you have on the schedule for this year?
Since December, I have been working as a cameraman / editor for the local news station in my area.
Okay, so videography work. And you want to do feature films and TV? That's where you want to.
Yes.
The main thing, and let me ask you this, with the short film, who's going to be working on this with you?
Mainly just friends of mine from film school and some of the connections I've made with people I've worked in the industry, freelance jobs, mingling, and networking.
Yeah, I think that for you, I would do the craft certification programs. You need to get consistently on these sets and start getting paid in a craft. Start moving faster than you are. And the main thing is like just having direction. Implementation is the main thing. That's all of us here. Before you know it, we'll be like shooting for the news. And then this documentary is going to come up. And then, just like with costumes, you'll find yourself down a path, maybe shooting sports. And it's fun and everything, but it's taking all your time and it's making you $400 a day. But you don't know, and you're not building those relationships and connections on feature films. Like this next year, it's already been 6 months since your last gig, right? So, and the way that you're thinking, and you probably came in on that video that I did, like shorts are not, maybe you did, that shorts are not the way to go. It's the slowest way to get, did you see that video, by the way?
I did.
Yeah. Because it's just to get your guys' attention, because people, and these people from film school, they will shoot shorts for 5 years. And they're like, I don't want to start at the bottom on film sets. I'm a director. I spent too much money on my education. But it's not about the job, just like we're seeing with Skylar, and yourself. You're a perfect example too. It's not about the job. If you have confidence in yourself as a person that wants to thrive creatively, call the shots and grow and learn, then it doesn't matter what job you do on set. When you have the direction that you want to go, you're going to be able to create that thing. So we'll start with any job, and we'll move quickly into a craft and move quickly into a department and find all the people there on set to then shoot your short film with. So project doesn't come first. Film sets come first and relationships come first, and then the project.
Hi there. I'm pretty new to the field, but I've always known that I wanted to do something creative. Last Sunday was my first experience on a tiny set, but it's still a set. I also stumbled upon the opportunity by going on Facebook, joining the different groups that are like looking for non-union work. But for the meantime, it's sort of like I'm slowly introducing myself to that type of thing.
Why slow? Why are you like, I'm kind of slowly, just wondering what's going on in your mind. Why slowly?
It's this culture that I grew up in, because I grew up in a Filipino environment, and sort of like my parents is like, you can't take a leap. Just it's a type of thing that like you have to make sure that there's something that will catch you before you jump, type of thing. So that's sort of the thing. But now I'm sort of just doing my own thing, because I'm here in Canada alone. They're back in the Philippines, and I'm in a position where I decided I wanted this year to focus more on the creative side of myself. So I started writing. I started learning to film, to use Adobe Premiere, like rough edits and stuff like that. I did acting classes and stuff. So I'm at a pace where I'm really raw. I feel like I'm so green, like very, very green. But I keep hearing that, like, you're in Toronto, you're in the right place to be. So you just need to be connected with the right people.
You have to have something that will catch you. So this is a thought that makes you kind of go slow and think, okay, I got to be around other filmmakers that are also just starting. I got to get my feet wet. I can't just jump in and go for it, because you have to have something that will catch you. And when you think that thought, what feeling does that bring up in your body?
There's a tug. I want to risk it. Like, if it's not as scary as it is, I would if it's just me, halfway in, halfway out type of thing.
Sure, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, but ever since last Sunday, I was like, yeah, I should do this. So I connected with the other background actors who's currently enrolled in Toronto Film School. So I started like considering like, okay, so if they've done it, what's stopping me from doing it for my?
They've done film school.
Yeah.
But anybody can sign up and get into debt with film school. Yeah, so that's not the answer. Definitely not.
Okay.
Everybody here, I just want you guys all to know step number one is to get on these sets. And what we do is we think that we have to prove ourselves. We have to shoot our shorts. We have to come in with a degree. We have to take all these acting classes. We have to study all of these and do all of these Adobe Premiere because we're afraid that we don't know enough on these sets. When actually what gets you hired is you, your personality, your hard work, the way that you think, what you bring to the film sets. You as a social worker, you are somebody that's fixing problems. You're handling big life situations, human stuff, big freaking stuff, like a lot bigger than really what's happening on film set. Like they always say on film sets, it's not rocket science, we're not like, we're creating stories. It's a lot lighter though, which is a point for you. It's a lot lighter, but in a way it's business. It is, well, it's not in a way, it is business, but the thought that you have to have something that will catch you means that it's something out there instead of like, you're the one that's going to catch you. Yeah, you can do this.
So I'm an executive assistant for a celebrity. I'm in Atlanta. And I've been on all sorts of sets. I'm on set on a regular basis. And I realized through the experiences I've had with her that I really want to become a producer. So I've been doing things like I've helped with film budgets. I've been the PA on a few sets. I've done casting, helping with casting, things like that. I talk to celebrities on a regular basis. I talk to agents, all of that. But I'm trying to figure out or make a plan as to how I fully transition into that role.
You want to produce features or what do you want to do?
I've always wanted to do something that involves creativity. And when I'm on set, I just feel like I'm at home. And just having seen some of the producers and what they do, I just feel like, oh, you know what? I would love to do that, You
kind of like to be in charge. You like to be in charge and be responsible and help other people, like the director and liaison with everybody. You're really good with people. Yeah?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
I've gotten a few people to come together and we want to work on a project together. So the idea is to do something similar to master class.
You mean create a website that gives educational content? But let me ask you, what is the dream for yourself? They're all good ideas. They're all good ideas, but you can be 20 years down the road and then you've created a master class, but that's not producing feature films or, so I just want to know for sure or see what it is that you can language.
So ultimately, I do want to produce like feature films.
Well,
I feel like I have all the good ingredients to make a great cake, but how do I put these ingredients together and bake it so that, it comes out beautifully?
So well said. I love how you said that. And if you listen to everybody here, and that's why you're getting a lot out of this, everybody's like, okay, maybe I should be doing this, or I should do the short film. I should get my friends together. And that's why I wanted to ask you what the dream was, if you knew what the dream was. So the dream is very powerful. And this is where all your power is. And I know there is so much that you could do, Kelly. You could do so many different things. And in fact, you're going to get a lot more ideas of things that you can do that might seem like, hey, that's a good idea and that's a good avenue. And I'm not saying don't do them. I'm just saying let's take some time and think about what it is that you really want to create. So we're not like, okay, this is where I'm putting all my energy now. And I hope that somehow it leads me to being a producer for feature films, because that's not going to be the case. It's producer for feature films, And then, hey, let's do some educational videos that I can produce while I am becoming a producer for feature films. Where you might think, oh, I would take that whole thing on and build that business. Maybe if your goal is to be a producer for feature films, you hire somebody to do that. Or you develop somebody that you meet on film sets to do that, and you just take the producing role so that you can focus on your main goal. I think that where we want to start with is producer, feature films. Where do I want to go? Who do I want to meet? So standing in, you 5 years down the road, you're producing your first $5 million budget feature film. You did it. Okay. So now let's imagine you there in 5 years. You produced your first $5 million feature film. Now, let your brain create for you what had to happen for that result. What other projects did you need to do that gave you that experience to now land and be responsible for a $5 million project that somebody put $5 million into?
I'll have to think about it. Like, where do I want to be in 5 years? And then just let my inner self kind of fill in the steps that I must take.
Yes, and the steps will be created as you take actions. So you've got a great little foundation there of people that you know and experiences that you've had, but it is all over the place. And certain things are taking a lot of your time, and you're going to be shifting from some of those and developing new places that you spend your time. It sounds like you have some flexibility also, and you've got people that support you and want what's best for you. That's huge. I'll tell you one thing that's for sure is if you want to be a producer for feature films, you have to start learning production. And that means you have to be doing it every week consistently, working in production, working in the production office, and finding the mentors with the producers and production supervisors and coordinators that are teaching you all the time, so that you start to learn, so that now you can be given that responsibility. And you're in a great place. You're right in Atlanta. It doesn't have to be feature films that you work on. It can be TV shows too, but and it can be commercials too.
Yeah.
So starting to implement this, it's implementation just like everybody else. That's what you need is to actually have a plan that you're implementing.
Yes. Well, I'm in. So
Good.
Thank you. This is so helpful.
So thank you very much for coming. Talk to you guys later. Bye. Thanks so much for listening. And if you want to take your career to the next level in the film industry, go to friendsinfilm.com/join. That's friendsinfilm.com/join. You can sign up for our mini course, learn about the A-list model, and then you can take it all the way and do the A-list program. So that's friendsinfilm.com/join. Thanks so much for listening. Have a great day, everybody.